Welcome to, and I call to order, the January 24th, 2022 regular meeting of the Boulder City Parks and Recreation Commission. Please rise, face the flag, and join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Do we have a confirmation that the meeting and agenda have been posted in accordance with Nevada revised statutes?
Yes, it has.
Thank you. We will open for public comment. Public comment for this period of time is subject to matters that are on the agenda. Any speakers will have 5 minutes. You can also comment remotely. Are we gonna do? Is that gonna be on the screen?
If they have any, yes.
Okay.
You gotta ask them first.
Do we have any public comment? Seeing and hearing none, on your screen is information on how to submit questions via email, or you can call 702-589-9629. We have nobody online or on the phone, so we'll move on to our first action item, and that will be to approve the minutes from the previous November 22nd, 2021 meeting. Do I have a motion to approve those minutes?
Yes, I motion to approve.
Is there a second?
I second.
Couple of seconds. Any discussion on those at all? All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? The motion carries. The minutes are approved.
Chairman, before we go to the next agenda item, would it be okay if we go ahead and introduce two of our newest members?
Yes, please.
We have Rose Hess, and we also have Steve Robbins. If you guys can go ahead and take a minute, Rose, if you want to start, and just give us a little bit of information about yourself.
My husband was born and raised in Boulder City. I've been a resident here for 16 and a half years for Boulder City. My husband was born and raised here. I love this community, and my kids play within the rec center and all the rec parks, and we volunteer our time as coaches and love the community, so I'm happy to be here.
I'm Steve Robbins. I've been here for a few years, and I just love the community. I love what's going on with the parks and recreations here, and I wanted to join just to see if I could help out.
Yeah, welcome to both of you, and thank you for volunteering to participate. Our next action item is to appoint a commission chairman and vice chairman. So let's do it in two pieces. We'll do the commission chairman first. So we need any nominations for commission chairman.
Scott, I'd like to nominate you for president, or chairman, I mean.
Okay, any other nominations? Okay, all in favor of me being or Scott Henson being the chairman for the 2022 year?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? I am doing it again. Next one is to nominate a vice chairman. Any nominations for vice chairman?
I'd like to go ahead and nominate Carla for vice chairman.
Okay, any other nominations? Okay, do I have all in favor of Carla as vice chairman, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Congratulations, Carla. I'm gonna take the rest of the day off.
Okay, go again.
Next item is approval of the operational reports regarding the Boulder City Municipal Golf Course. A motion to approve those reports?
I move to approve the reports.
Just for new people, those reports are in the packet here. And so they've been submitted to us to do our due diligence on ahead of time, read those, and so now we're just approving those reports. So that being said, do I have a second?
I second.
Okay, any discussion on the operation reports of the Parks and Rec, or I'm sorry, the Boulder City Municipal Golf Course? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Reports, motion carries. Is that you, Roger, right?
Yeah, second one.
And, oh yeah, verbal report for now from Director Hall on the playability and maintenance issues of the golf course.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Well, things are going very well at both golf courses. On the Muni course, I asked the superintendent for a list of items, and he sent me them. They're into winter mowing. The leaves are a daily cleanup throughout the course. They're foliar feeding the greens, tees, fairways, and approaches. That's with the liquid fertilizer. Cleaning leaves and pine cones daily. The first fungicide application applied to the greens, surrounds, and collars. They're trimming low-hanging trees throughout the course. They're checking the beds and make sure they're free of cattails and grasses. They're cleaning the DG, decomposed granite areas along the houses on the back 9, 12, and 15. They're trimming shrubs around the clubhouse as well as the snack shack on number 15. They're weed eating and edging the bunkers, locating valve boxes, replacing leaking lake fill valves, and filling in the cart pass entrance and exits as needed. A lot of work is going on. They get a lot of the work in the wintertime down at the course because they might have a little more time than when everything starts growing and all they do is start mowing. So courses are looking good, play is up, and we're very happy with the outcome down there at the course. That's the end of my report.
Thank you. Any questions for Director Hall?
So Roger, I'd just like to pass on some comments I've gotten the last couple of weeks about the condition of the course.
Okay?
2 or 3 people that I've played with out there have really commented on it, how well it's done during the winter time, and how well they do picking up the leaves so you can find your ball a little better. And these people have been from North Las Vegas and Las Vegas that come here to play, so in the Muni course.
That's good to know.
Yeah, so I appreciate if you pass that on to.
I will.
You really have done a nice job with conditions.
Thank you.
The course is actually designed to play right down the grassy part of it, so over in the leaves is not where you want to be.
There's a couple limbs we need to take out.
I have a question, Roger.
Turn your mic up.
Is this it? And I'm not a golfer, so I'm clueless, but I'm just, with our lake going to be going down another 30 feet and another, I just wondered about irrigation and how we're doing about trying to conserve, I guess.
Well, that is, first on our minds now that the lake is going way down. We just hired Mark Raythard, who was the designer of the Boulder Creek Golf Course. And Mark's going to be coming in at the beginning of next month and meeting with some of the superintendents on there to upgrade a plan that he produced about 10 years ago, working with the SNWA to make sure that we are looking at removing some non-playable turf at the golf courses and taking advantage of their $3 rebate per square foot. That's kind of a good idea right now. It kind of serves 2 purposes. And so Mark's going to be looking at that and some of the other projects around the Boulder Creek Golf Course and Boulder City Golf Course. So we're looking forward to meeting with Mark and seeing what he produces. So, but yes, it's on our minds.
Roger, is that recycled water using on the course?
No, actually, it's potable water.
It's potable.
And we're looking into possibly using reclaimed water, and that's part of what he's going to be looking at. I know the Public Works Department is looking at that as well.
Okay, thank you.
Any other questions for Director Hall? Okay, we'll move on to the next item, item number 4. The discussion and approval of the operational reports for the Recreation Division. Do I have a motion to approve those reports?
I move to approve of reports.
Okay, and a second?
I'll second.
We have a second. Any discussion on those reports? Okay, all in favor of approving them?
Aye.
Any opposed? And motion carries. And now we have, verbal, Jen's not here. Who's doing that?
I have a report from her. So I will let you know, the Art Center classes are growing every month. The Fine Art Prep and All About Abstract are both full this month, which is a first for both classes, so that's very exciting. Pottery classes and wire wrapping also have increased number of registrations. So things are definitely moving forward at the Art Center, which is really nice. SafeKey continues to struggle with staffing. They're having interviews next week for an assistant coordinator position, so that they hope that that will help somewhat, because that'll be a 32-hour-a-week position versus a 19-hour-a-week position. So it'll at least give somebody a little bit more hours that they can work. Most days they are full to capacity because we are limited with only 30 students based on the student to instructor ratios. So they are full most days, so that's also good. She wanted to let everybody know that there was an Eagle Scout project out at Boulder City Pond. There was an Eagle Scout from Henderson that installed 5 fishing line and hook receptacles around the pond for disposing of lines and hooks. Those are often a hazard for the fish and the wildlife that's out there. So it'll be a place for the fishermen to easily be able to dispose of those lines and hooks. This was done in cooperation with the Nevada Department of Wildlife, and next is that they're hoping to install some more signage so that the fishermen are aware that that is a place for their disposable items. She said that they're recently helped with the Nevada Arts Council and the production of Broadway in the Hood. It is a powerful play that was put on a week ago at the DWP, and it'll be shown again this Saturday at the DWP. It is something that she encourages everyone to go to. It's just a great family story of a hardship and how the family all came together. So I have a flyer for that for you. And then lastly, she said that the spring brochure should be out the first part of February, and that will highlight all the classes, programs, and offerings from March through August. We do produce that twice a year. And we're hoping that there's continued growth in participation in all classes and programs. Any questions regarding that?
You know, that hook and line receptacle, that's a great idea. I've seen it other places, and I noticed around the lake there's an awful lot of hooks and lines and stuff laying around on the deal that we've had birds get hooked up in them, and so it's a really good idea. I'm glad you're doing that.
It really is, and it started with, I think they did a project, I want to say at Sunset Park, and the Department of Wildlife reached out to us and said, we have other, scouts that want to do projects, and they would love to come out there, and it's a great thing. Would Boulder City be interested? And we said, absolutely, we would be. So, yeah, it's a great project.
With the fitness center, does Jennifer do that?
Yes.
Okay, because I had some people that deal with there regularly that had said that they, it gets so many people. You have, 90 people a day go there? And there was something about when they were bringing guests and friends, and then they wanted to know if there's a way that they could pay cash when they go there, rather than having to go to the office, the Parks and Recs, to pay for the day. So I don't know if that was the question they asked me to present to you.
So as of right now, we're not accepting cash at that location for a few reasons, but you can call in at any point in time. So you don't have to stop by the Parks and Recreation office. You can call in and say, I just want to stop by. Can I give you my credit card? And we'll say, absolutely, give us your credit card over the phone. You can stop by and do that. A lot of people are taking advantage when they start going and they find out that they love it. It's convenient, it's easy, it's smaller, it's quiet, it's not crazy busy. And then they will sign up for 3 months, which is an advantage, or a couple and wife, that couples, husband and wife, or families, they have discounts for multi-people. So they're taking advantage of that. And again, you can just call in so that you don't have to pay every time.
I think we have guests or friends who are coming, they don't live here or anything, and they want
Just a thought on that, would it be possible to do something like a punch card like the pool does for those?
You could, but the issue is that they would still have to purchase that through us. I don't think that's the issue as much, because you can pay $10 for a whole week and go every single day it's open. There's not a limit to the number of times that you can go. And we could do a punch pass. I think what she's saying is the convenience of just being able to drop in and pay $4.
Right, but that's only good 4 days a week and not during the evening hours. Like you can't pay for that on a Saturday.
That is correct. Unfortunately, because of cash handling, it's not in our best interest to have cash on site. And so right now we're doing it through credit cards. It may change in the future. We may be able to have the capability of taking a credit card down there, but we don't at this time.
Any further discussion?
Well, on that, is there any way to start an online credit cards online for not just the fitness center, but for any recreational?
Our current program is supposed to be able to do that. Unfortunately, we do not have the capabilities right now to do that. But yes, that would definitely be our goal. I think it's certainly helpful that people don't have to come into our office, especially during COVID. It was immensely helpful that they could call and we didn't have to have that face-to-face contact. That was very helpful. But moving forward, yes, we would like to have that capability to be able to do that online.
Yeah, because I think it would
Solve many problems.
solve many, many problems.
For sure.
That's a good idea, and you can pay your utility bill online. It seems like you could pay your recreation fees. Any further discussion on this topic? Okay, next we have a verbal report from Sports Coordinator Kelly Lair.
Hi all, I just gave Rose a bunch of pictures. You guys can look through them and pass them along. We have men's basketball beginning their second round of games in league play this week. We have 5 teams total, approximately 40 participants in that program. They play on Tuesdays and Thursday nights from 7 to 9 p.m. in the new gymnasium. February, we'll start hosting women's spring volleyball again. And adult co-ed softball. So next time we meet in March, I'll have a better idea about numbers of participants in that league. With the mask mandate in effect, our numbers have been limited. However, our local EOCs determined that athletes, when actively participating, do not have to wear masks. That's recent. That's just over the weekend. So that should increase our volleyball numbers a lot. They just didn't want to wear the masks when they were playing. It's as an ex-PE teacher, I can tell you it's not healthy. It's tough. I struggle with parents and players every day, every week with the masks. And so that was a huge burden to be lifted this weekend, to be able to tell the parents that the kids could take the masks off when they were running up and down the court. They keep them on when they're inside. It's still a mask mandate indoors in our city buildings. And so when they come in the building, they have it on. When they leave the building, they have it on. When they're on the bench, they have it on. When they use the restroom, they have it on. But when they are running up and down the court, they can take it off and leave it on the bench. So that was huge for us. In youth sports, we have 2 more weeks of youth basketball. 3rd and 4th grade co-ed plays Mondays and Wednesdays, so they'll be playing tonight. They play at 6 and 7. And 5th through 7th grade boys play on Tuesday and Thursdays at 6:30. We have 5 3rd through 4th grade teams, and we only have 3 5th through 7th grade boys teams. My numbers are extremely low, and like I said, it was the masks. They were playing with masks up until Saturday, as well as the junior high offering their junior Bobcat program. And at the junior high, they're not allowed to play in another league if they're playing for their school. So that didn't used to be the case, but now it is, and so it's limited those numbers. So the kids that don't make the team come and play for me, which is a great opportunity, because when they get to high school, there are 3 teams to play for, a freshman, a JV, and a varsity. So if they don't make the 10 or the 12 positions that they have at Garrett Junior High, they still have the opportunity to play basketball in the winter. And I do have some basketball players in that program. I'm surprised they're not playing for Jim, I think is who's coaching it, Jim Const, because they're very good basketball players, but I think there was a lot of things with the masks also, and with getting physicals, and they missed the physicals. So I'm glad we have the opportunity to offer that for them. Kindergarten through 2nd grade hockey began with opening ceremony this past Saturday. Local Boy Scout troop presented the flags. I believe I have a picture of that in there. Don Green from Boulder City Sunrise Rotary was presented with an official jersey, and we did have some extra jerseys for the rest of the Boulder City Sunrise Rotary Club. So I gave Scott one, and I'll make sure that I give Roger some for his next meeting. We have 4 kindergarten teams and 5 1st through 2nd grade teams, 80 total participants. Our teams are full. This league plays in the old gymnasium on Saturday mornings beginning at 9 a.m., and the league will go through mid-March. 3rd through 6th grade hockey, we have a lot of phone calls for that, and we plan on having that indoors also. Their clinic's on February 10th, and they will start their games mid-March, and they play on Mondays and Wednesday evenings, I believe. It goes around, we try and cooperate with Little League. So we end our kindergarten through 2nd grade hockey the weekend before Little League starts their opening day, and then we try and have it 2 days where the kids that are in 3rd through 6th grade can still come to practice and not miss out on their practices for Little League. So we kind of coordinate that together. Boulder City High School softball and baseball have begun their intramurals on Bravo Field and Wayland Field in the last week and a half. They anticipate their tryout date is February 19th, and the fields at that time tend to get extremely busy. The weather improves. We have a lot of tournaments. Vegas Valley Baseball and Nevada Baseball tournaments continue to utilize our baseball fields every weekend in the spring. So when they're not using when the Boulder City High School baseball team is not using Wayland, somebody is renting it. It's used every single weekend. Little League begins their clinics this next month with the opening day, and the expected day I have on my calendar is the 19th. And so they'll take Veterans Fields over every day, all 4 fields, when rentals are not present. So you're going to see some baseball lights on the baseball fields and the softball fields as early as next month. I'm actively looking for youth baseball sponsors and a guest speaker for my annual ceremony. That is in May. I've contacted the Aces, the Raiders, the Silver Knights, the UNLV, and the Aviators. So far, it looks like maybe UNLV is my best bet. Those are the people that are trying to coordinate with me. And I will give you all more information because I ask you to come and take a look at that opening ceremony. We'll have it on Field 1 at Veterans Memorial. And we invite all the parents and the kids, and we have the kids parade with their uniforms around the bases, introduce all the coaches, a little bit longer than the ceremony this last Saturday. And I love it when Parks and Rec Commission is there and our city council and kind of introduces the community to all you guys also. Almost back to normal. We're offering all of our sports, but our numbers are just low. And I think people are still a little frightened. People are uncomfortable with the masks. And I think as people get used to wearing them when you come in and taking them off when you're exercising, that if that's our new norm, that the numbers will start to grow. I did want to show you, we have 4 sponsors for basketball. And I love these sponsors. They are always behind me 100%. But I just love this logo. It's the Fox Family Barbecue logo. And they are sponsoring. We have Boulder Concrete sponsoring, Woodbury Law, and Papillon. And so if you ever come into the gyms to watch the co-ed little kids play or the boys 5th through 7th, my vendor did a great job with these 2. And it's kind of fun to see them in the gym again. We spent a lot of time outside last year, so we're in the gym again. And then I also wanted to add, just to, Julie was talking about the Boy Scout project, and last time, I'm not sure if we highlighted that the Boy Scout project for Veterans Memorial is they put those bat racks in the dugouts, and that was Logan Borg, I believe, and that was his project, and he came back in the last couple weeks and made some amendments to it. It wasn't hanging right, or it was not painted right, and so he cleaned those up, and pretty extraordinary addition to those. That they were utilized this weekend for a Vegas Valley tournament or a Nevada baseball tournament, and they commented on that they thought that was kind of a neat addition to our dugout. So it's nice that the Boy Scouts and the Cub Scouts can help out our local youth. Any questions for me?
No, but Kelly, thank you for inviting us to come to last Saturday. I was busy, but that was nice of you to do that.
Any other questions for Kelly? Okay, we'll move on to item 5. And it's operational reports and approval regarding the aquatic division. Do I have a motion to approve those reports?
Chairman,
Yes,
I
ma'am.
think we might have missed agenda item D.
I'm sorry, we did.
That's okay.
My apologies. Back to item number 4D, and it's a verbal report from Manager Julie Calloway.
Oh, thank you.
Imagine that.
I left for you a copy of the master list. As you can see, there's already 74 special events scheduled so far this year, and I will remind you, we're only in January. So we already have 74 special events on the books. So it's going to be a busy year, which we like. We want to get people out to Boulder City and see all that we have to offer. I want to let you know about some projects that we have completed recently. We had the lights at ABC Park Gymnasium upgraded to energy efficient LED lights, which really brightened up that facility. I know pickleball players, I think, were thinking they needed to wear their sunglasses that first day, but they quickly got used to it, and it did help immensely. We also have lights that have been installed at the skate park at Veterans Memorial Park, and there is some upgrades, improvements, repairs going on in the next couple of weeks. Our building maintenance department will be repairing one of the ramps there, replacing just some of the wood that has had some water damage to it. And last week we did have safety surface repairs at Bicentennial Park and Veterans Memorial Park. And in the next couple of weeks, we'll have a protective coating going on that safety surface to just increase the lifespan of that so that it stays it stays around as long as possible, especially if the kids stop picking at it. Zero Skate Park is going to be really renovated. It's going to be unrecognizable. We're basically kind of out with the old and in with the new. Everything will be, the majority of the existing playground equipment will be removed and replaced, including we'll have new safety surface, irrigation repairs, cleanup of the just the overall landscaping of that park. And so that'll be a nice addition. That should be taking place in the next couple of months. And if you haven't been there, that's off of, oh, now I'm going to mess it up. Bermuda Dunes, Royal Birkdale, one of those places, one of those over there. If you haven't, look it up. It's very close to Bicentennial, no, it's very close to Veterans Memorial Park, and just a tiny little neighborhood park that it has been in need of some upgrades. So we're going to be taking care of that. Soon we'll have the outdoor pickleball court lines added to the tennis courts at Bicentennial Park. No, Broadbent Park, where the tennis courts are. We're waiting on the company to get their Boulder City business license so we can get that purchase order and proceed with that. We have a friendship swing that's been temporarily removed at Oasis Park. We're waiting on parts for that, and then that will be reinstalled at that location because that's a favorite at that park. Speaking of Oasis, you might have seen a few weeks ago that there was, unfortunately, some vandalism at the playgrounds at Oasis Park. I would love to tell you that it's a really rare occurrence that we have something like this happen, but unfortunately, it does happen too frequently, let's put it that way. In this case, they took spray paint and spray painted some colorful words on the playground equipment, which were quickly, promptly covered up by staff. But this is obviously not only just unsightly, but it also is very costly to the city when we have to send people out. Sometimes we have to send people out on overtime because it happens on the weekends. And we're really encouraging residents, dog walkers, people that live in the area, anytime you see something that just doesn't look quite right, please take the time to call the Boulder City Police Department non-emergency line and just let them know, I'm seeing, whatever, kids throwing rocks at the playground equipment, or, a group of kids walking down the street with, spray paint cans in their hands. If there's anything, along those lines, we want kids to have fun. We want them to enjoy the parks, but we also want the whole community to be able to enjoy the parks. So we are encouraging, if anyone sees something, that they say something. Some challenges that we've had, which Jennifer mentioned it in her report. I think Kelly mentioned it briefly. Staffing does continue to be an issue for our departments. And it's not just having enough staff, but it's also having healthy staff. As you can see today, there's 2 staff members, Jennifer and Sherry, that are not here. So they're out because of health reasons. So we're trying the best we can to continue to run programs. We have Tiny Tots was out for a couple of days last week. We have an instructor that's out. So we're filling in anywhere we can. We filled in at Tiny Tots. We filled in at Safe Key. None of us are skilled in gymnastics, so we haven't gone that far, but we are trying to fill in as much as we can and keep everybody as healthy as we can. We are working on the budget for next year. That will be approved by City Council and sent up to the state in May. So we're working on that. We don't have a whole lot of huge requests, but are moving forward with some new projects. On Wednesday morning, our office at the rec department will be closed for a couple of hours because we have a departmental staff training day that morning. So in case you need something, we'll be there in the afternoon, but we won't be there in the morning. And then I do want to point out on your golf course reports, if you haven't had a chance to look at those, I recommend that you look at them very closely, because one thing that you will see is that our revenues have increased month by month by month in comparison to the previous year, September, the previous year, whether it was 19, 20, and 21, you've seen increases the whole time, which is quite an accomplishment with everything that's going on. So we're very fortunate to have such good partners with the contractors there, Shaper Golf and Turf Tech. So all of our programs are increasing in participation, slowly kind of creeping out of the COVID slowdown. And we're very grateful for that. So, any questions?
Julie, we mentioned the Oasis vandalism. Then periodically I keep hearing in the news about the community gardens getting vandalized.
Yes, unfortunately, we actually had that just happen within the last week as well. Yes, so that's another area that is also bicentennial restrooms right here are often vandalized as well. So we do have security cameras up, but haven't found any, decisive footage from that yet. So it's unfortunate.
Yeah.
You have security cameras here or in all of those places that the vandalism has happened?
We're working on getting it in all locations. We currently have it in some of the more frequently abused.
Yeah, I knew that there were some up and that you had been working on that. I was just wondering if you had gotten them.
So Community Gardens does have them up.
Wonderful.
Anything else for Julie Callaway? Okay, next is item 5B, and that's a verbal report from Aquatic Coordinator Cherie Brennan. I'm sorry, that's not correct. Next, we need to approve the, we're on 6. Or on 5. Items pertaining to the aquatic division, and we need to approve those reports, operational reports. Do I have a motion to approve those reports? I have a motion, do I have a second? And any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Motion carries. Spree, your verbal report?
Thank you. So I'm guessing that I'm the only one that followed Miss Julie's instruction to give you all a brief introduction of myself since we have 2 new members. So welcome, Rose and Steve, right? I'm Cherie Brennan. I'm the aquatic coordinator, and I've been at the pool for a little over 7 years. I've been the coordinator for just about 4. As has been mentioned by others in the department, we are also suffering quite a staffing shortage. And typically, I'm overseeing anywhere from 10 to 15 to 20 lifeguards, 6 to 10 to 12 swimming instructors. Currently, I think I counted, I have 6 lifeguards. And then I have an assistant coordinator, Sierra Beggs, who was trying to get here, but she is lifeguarding. And we both lifeguard quite a bit currently. So enough about me. Thanks, Julie. So about the pool, unfortunately, we had a situation just come up yesterday, and I lost another lifeguard who had to depart just due to some unforeseen, unfortunate circumstances. And he's a great kid, faithful and reliable and all that, so we have no information if he will return. Sierra is going to run another lifeguard course in February, and we're hoping to gain, dare I say that word, gain 3 or so lifeguards out of that. We've had some interest from a few folks who are not currently certified. So we're trying real hard. We have a new person coming on board, a man by the name of Brent, and he's going to be teaching what we call Swim for Fitness. He has a lifelong love with aquatics, as many of us do, and started as a teenager. He was a rescue swimmer in the Coast Guard. So he's going to be teaching that Swim for Fitness. He has also been a master swimmer and coach more recently. Unfortunately, he is not retired from a real job, so he can't work for us very much, but he's also lifeguard certified. So I'm hoping I can get a shift or 2 out of him per week. We still need swimming instructors. We are trying to, I feel like I say that every meeting, trying to get swimming lessons back on a roll. We've had a bit of interest in private lessons, and with the recent certification of one of our young men, he's doing some private lessons. I don't know if it's because we haven't been able to offer things regularly, if that's why we're not getting the people inquiring. I mean, we're making phone calls and talking to people constantly about signing up for swimming lessons, trying to at least get the beginners, the level 1s, going and get these kids on their way, moving up. Water safety and those beginning lessons are so important. Let's see. Our water fitness or aerobics classes are going strong. So that's a constant. We have 2 great instructors that teach different time frames, different styles. So we're really thankful for them. And those classes and those faithful patrons that come in month after month. We're working on, so currently, and this started, I'm not sure what year, 2019, I believe, the Southern Nevada Health District made a change to some of their policies. And one of them affects how we staff the number of lifeguards at the pool. Our pool is just shy of 6,000 square feet surface area, and the health department requires 1 lifeguard per 2,000 square feet, meaning we should have 3 lifeguards on the pool deck when we have the whole pool in operation. I don't have enough lifeguards to do that, so we close a portion of the pool at various times, back and forth, whether it's lap swimming or during water aerobics. We have looked into having an outside agency come in and do an assessment or audit of the facility, time our lifeguards, and perhaps determine that we could do with a lower number of lifeguards for our pool. The one agency I've heard back is on the really expensive side, in my opinion. I have reached out to the American Red Cross as well to see if what they offer is compatible, and what kind of fee. I don't have the full information on that, but that is in the works, and hopeful that maybe we'll be allowed to make some adjustments. We had, in December, we had our Swim with Santa and Buddy the Elf event, which is a gift drive. We get the names of children or families from the different schools, and we try to get gifts donated that pertain to those ages and genders and so forth, and kind of what's on their wish list. We didn't have very many swimmers show up that day, but we did get a fair number of donations from that. And then Sierra and I went out and delivered those a few days before Christmas. I'm glad that we're able to have a few special events now and then, even with our staffing shortage. We're gearing up. The Boulder City High School swim team begins practice mid-February. In the past, they've had an outstanding team. I expect that to continue, and we're all just crossing our fingers that we can staff that. As far as the facility itself, things have been going real smooth, so I'm thankful for that. Thanks, Roger. We did have to have our chlorine tab feeders replaced. I think I might have mentioned that at the last meeting. The chlorine just eats most everything away, so we have brand new tab feeders. We had to have a fan replaced on the heater, the pool heater booster pump, but that was a minor thing. And the heating unit on the blower that holds the bubble up had to be replaced. That was in November also. And we're getting a new eye wash station soon in the mechanical room. So hopefully it's a better situation, better device than what's currently in there. So hopefully we can stave off the corrosion a little longer. We haven't had any closures due to mechanical issues, only just through the holidays, just adjusted our hours a little bit. And then I think lastly, one thing that we're all excited about, I hope my few lifeguards are excited about this. We're going to start a new kind of fun/competitive lifeguard training program. I guess you can call it a program. Loosely based on the Hunger Games quarter quell. If any of you are Hunger Games, I don't know a thing about it. I had to look it up. But instead of every 25 years, we're going to have it roughly 3 times a year. So they'll continue with their weekly, ongoing reading assignments, swimming, and other hands-on things that we do, whether it's practicing CPR or me pretending that the mannequin is my baby and I need help with it, or those types of things. And then every 3 or 4 months, we'll have a bigger deal. So it's a point system. They can earn points, they can lose points, and there's a variety of things that we're putting together to hopefully get some enthusiasm and fun, and trying just about everything we can to get people invested. So, do any of you have questions for me?
Well, the question we always have, right, is when are we going to replace the pool?
Well, we have an item on the agenda for tomorrow night where they're gonna take some money to increase the, money that we have in a separate account to fund the pool. And so, with the sale of track 350 around the golf course, once we receive that money, 90% of that, from what I understand, goes into that fund as well. So we are getting close to start the design process, for the pool. So keep your fingers crossed.
Sheree, how much of the staffing issue do you think is because you can't pay as well as Henderson?
I'm not sure how much that plays in when I have talked to the kids that we have trained. And I've just kind of mentioned, do you think you want to work here? Or, do you know what your plans are? They say, well, I don't want to drive to Henderson. So I don't know. I really don't have a feel on that.
Okay.
We just don't seem to have that many interested.
So it's just a lack of interest, not necessarily a lack of funds at this point.
It doesn't seem to be, and we're even, if we train them at our facility, we're not even charging them what we would charge, say, an outsider who came in and we know they're not gonna work here, for the course.
Right.
So I don't really have a firm answer on that for you, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Any other questions or comments for Cherie? Okay, our next item, item 6, verbal report from Director Hall regarding Bootleg Canyon.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mountain biking activities at Bootleg Canyon continue to be very popular. From January through March, we have, there's 4 major special event races up there, and they bring in a lot of people to Boulder City. A lot of times they come, they race, they come here for lunch, they buy gas here. It really helps the economy for having special events in Boulder City, especially Bootleg Canyon. Also, with the nice weather, riders are utilizing the over 50 miles of trails that we have up there. If you go up there any time of the day, you'll see cars parked in the parking lot and riders riding the course. So, and the weather's been really, really nice to do that. So, we see a lot of new faces up there. They're also using the River Mountain Loop Trail. There's a lot of electric bikes being purchased, and they love to go to Henderson for breakfast and come back home to Boulder City. So that seems to be a very popular type of thing. Regarding the aerial trail system, or zip line as it's called, we've been approached by the owners that they're very interested in coming back and would like to meet with the city to coordinate or negotiate a contract with the city. Their contract expires June of '22, and so we're waiting to hear from Ian Green and his group about coming, and we'll keep you posted on what is happening, with the trail. But there'll be a lot of requirements that we would have for the trail. Obviously, they haven't used the trail or the zip line in probably a year and a half to 2 years. So we'd have to have inspections and by engineers and that type of thing to make sure it's safe. But we're working on that. Brock Armentrout, our contract manager, and I will be handling that, and I'll keep you posted as it occurs. And that is the end of my report. Any questions?
Roger, I think last meeting I mentioned something about a city trail map, where all
Yes.
the bike paths are in town.
Yes.
After that meeting, I went down and met with the Chamber of Commerce to see what they had available.
Uh-huh.
And, they've got a regional trail map for
Yeah. But guess what?
bikes.
I found one for you. Many are going to think you asked me that on purpose. No. This was done with the Chamber of Commerce, and it's a great trail map of Boulder City, outlining Bootleg Canyon, outlining all the trails not Bootleg, but all the trails in town. So it's very.
In town, okay, the green lines.
So it's the
You
River
know, the
Mountain
Chamber of
Trail.
Commerce does not have this map.
Oh, really?
At least
Just
when I
in
went
Boulder
down there,
City.
they didn't.
I'll have to get
So
this,
it goes-
this was done by the
it goes
Community
35 miles.
Development
They do it all
Department a
the time.
couple years ago, a number of years
In
ago, actually.
Henderson.
You know, it would, to me, I envisioned it, if you could do it online, so you could put your phone in your bike and stop at the restaurants and all the stuff around town, or the parks.
Yeah, maybe we can include it on.
But this is a nice map, I'm glad to see it. Anyway, the chamber said they were gonna talk about it, whether that happens or not, I don't know, but it
I'll
seems
get-
like
I'll get
something
with
could
Jill
almost
and-
sell
Uh-huh.
to the local community, I mean, the business community,
Right.
and maybe our parks and things like that, that
I know Public Works is working on one too, and I need to get with them and find out what the status is on that.
you just see so many e-bikes on the road now all over town.
Oh, yeah, yeah, definitely.
Thank you very much for that.
You're welcome.
Anything else regarding Bootleg Canyon? Okay, we'll move on to item number 7. This is an opportunity for commission members to bring up items of interest or concern that they may have or may have heard from the public. Rose, do you have anything to share?
I do, in regards to the Oasis and the vandalism that's been going on, outside of having cameras in certain locations, once we do get, if we have footage and these individuals are caught, how are we going to ensure that they don't go back to Oasis again? Is there a fine process? Is there, what are our plans?
What happens if we catch them in the act, which we've caught some kids in the act, they get basically arrested. I would assume that they're issued a ticket to appear before a judge. The judge will a lot of times give them community service, or even make, if it's depending on the vandalism, make the parents pay for the vandalism problems. And some of this playground equipment, it's thousands and thousands of dollars that they're vandalizing. So if they get caught, I mean, and a lot of it, if it goes over a certain amount, it becomes a felony or a gross misdemeanor, and then their lives are ruined forever. So it doesn't really make any sense to vandalize in our park system. If you get caught, you're going to get in real bad trouble. And your parents will probably pay for the things that you thought it was fun destroying. So, but that's normally the case.
Perfect, thank you.
You're welcome.
Valerie, do you have anything? Do you have any questions, concerns, comments on any topic?
Well, when we were talking about the River Mountain Loop Trail, about right down, the section from like the Red Mountain, what's it called, River Mountain Trailhead, past St. Jude's, all the way down, that new section of the road, is that city, it's a big improvement, I think that's for the bikes, right?
Yeah, the RTC, the Public Works Department put that in with RTC money, so it didn't cost Boulder City anything to do that. And that was an improvement of the flood control channel as well as the amenities by the channel. So thank the RTC for that, and the Public Works Department for administrating that project. It turned out great.
Yeah.
One of the big things that we wanted to do as well is try to keep the bighorn sheep away from the highway. And the previous design had grass right next to the highway, and when the bighorn sheep come down from Hemingway Park, it includes a big traffic jam when they're coming up from the lake. People pull over, and it's a very dangerous situation. So we tried to eliminate some of the grass there to try to keep the sheep up towards Hemingway Park and the ball fields. So that seems to work out. I haven't seen the sheep there, but again, it's winter time. We'll see in the spring if that works.
Thank you.
Well, then I was going to say, somebody was telling me how they think the toilets in the parks are wonderful. They want me that.
That's a good thing.
I think it might be old people that have to go to the bathroom a lot. I don't know. But they say, they love that there's, 24 restrooms in the parks. And again, anyway, so I'd get a compliment about bathrooms.
Well, we like that.
I can vouch for the restrooms in the park. I drove for the trash company here.
Oh, yeah.
I've stopped at all of them. But in reference to the maps that you talked about, what I would like to see on those maps is kind of like the walking trail we have here. like where you have your phone.
Yeah.
And you stop at certain areas and it talks about it on your phone, where it's got the QR code, I guess it is. And you point it, I guess there's some here in town.
Well, the Chamber of Commerce has one. It's the walking tour.
Right.
You start at the
walking tour.
DWP building and you start there, and then it tells you where to go.
Right, we had talked about that later with Jill.
Uh-huh.
That I'd like to see that with the bikes too.
I think that'd be a great idea.
With the
Even
bikes.
in our parks, you could, what's available in this park and that park if you ride by, or a restaurant or whatever, but.
Or a spot you could stop in the park,
Yeah.
point at the QR code, it could tell you about that park and what's available at that certain park.
I just think Boulder City could be a great little weekend destination on your bike during the great
Oh, yeah.
weather, you know?
And like Roger said, a lot of people from Boulder City ride to Henderson. I know a lot of people that go from Boulder City to Henderson and rent the electric bikes, ride back to Boulder City, have lunch, and ride back to Henderson to turn the bikes in. I know of a lot of people that have started doing that just to check out the electric bikes.
That's cool.
Mike, do you have any?
No, I think I gave my spiel here earlier.
Okay, Carla? And Steve?
I know there's a lot of excitement about the new golf carts, and I've been getting a lot of inquiries as to when they would be arriving. I know when I went golfing last week, both the carts and our foursome died on the course, so hopefully they show up.
Well, we have 2 fleets ordered, 130 carts for the creek and 100 for Boulder City. And Julie, what was the, do you know the?
The estimated arrival date for Boulder Creek is April. And for Muni, we're crossing our fingers for September. I will tell you, there was a piece of equipment that we've ordered for the golf course, and they were just utility carts, and estimated 18 months for delivery. Yeah, yep, good times.
Next we have possible action item regarding the master plan. Are you gonna lead that discussion? or?
Yes, I will. For the last few years, the staff of the Parks and Rec Department has been diligently working on a Parks Master Plan, and this task was created by a previous city manager in order to save some money. The plan is designed to emphasize standards, policies, and operations that affect future growth for the Parks and Rec services in Boulder City. The department has included community input in this process and national standard as part of the process as well. On February 24th of 2020, the first preliminary draft of the master plan was submitted to the Parks and Rec Commission for review. Input was received by the commission and segments of the draft were changed and improved. I'm proud to say that you have been given the final version of the master plan, and we are asking for input and approval of the Parks and Rec master plan. And then once it's approved, we're going to take it to City Council for approval. So I'll open it up for input, comments. And again, it's the master plan is used for budget purposes. It identifies a lot of items that most people don't think about when they go to a park, replacement of gazebos, barbecues, stuff like that eventually need to be replaced because of the environment. This gives a little help to establish budgets for the upcoming year, and once it's approved, then we'll use it as a budget source for City Council, for the public to see what we're up against in funding some of the issues around our park system. So with that, I'll open it up for comments.
Anybody have any particular comments on the master plan?
Yeah, I could comment.
Valerie?
Well, it's amazing. The photographs are great. But like when I said, I walked in, when I was reading all of the deficiencies and and current conditions of all the parks. It was breaking my heart and wondering, how would you ever get the money and whatever to do all the repairs and work that needs to be done to bring up, I like the ratings of the parks and stuff like that. And what's an ABC got a D? Poor ABC Park. So it's just like, it's great to identify all that and specify. I'm just wondering what's the hope to be able, with the master plan to get?
Well, the hope would be, once we identify it and it's approved by again, the Parks and Rec Commission and also City Council, then that gives us a budget document to go for, where we can start looking at the various parks, prioritize the parks which need it the most, and then start putting money towards, fixing up the parks as per standards. We use the standards for the National Parks and Rec Society, and they have standards for that we should use. We use those, and we've analyzed all the parks and what they need. So we're hoping that once it's approved, it'll act as a catalyst to fix some of these parks up and what we need.
No, it's amazing, Matt. I learned a lot about the park system just reading that, and I've been here 28 years. I learned a lot just going through all of it, and then I think that when there were some other comments about what, I can't find the section that was really, I thought, valuable in terms of setting goals and objectives for the committee, or for all the directors here, and for us, I guess, in the commission, since I'm so new, so I'm never sure, what kinds of things, but you specified things in there, so for us and for the department. So, a lot of good information.
Well, thank you. Over the period of time, which is 2 years, 2020, my staff did an excellent job. I know a lot of people have worked on this, probably every member of our staff, and we're kind of proud of what we produced. And again, it's a flowing document. Obviously, if something happens at one of our parks and we have to take money from one section to pay because it's vandalized or whatever, then we'll have the opportunity and the method to do so. But at least we have the start of something, and then we can modify this plan and keep a running total of what we're doing. So.
A lot of work went into this.
Oh, yeah.
Roger, first, I have nothing bad to say about this. I mean, I really compliment you on doing it. I thought in fact, I went around to a number of the parks and looked at your comments on each park. I think you were a little hard on yourself, but it really is a comprehensive document. I mean, and I think the other part, the goals and objectives, are measurable, and I really like that part of it too.
Well, we appreciated your input the last time. You had some input on the goals and objectives, and we appreciated that.
Even if we ever did this interactive thing, bike map around town, some of these descriptions of what each park has in it would be excellent, just to let somebody get a quick and dirty idea of what's involved in that park, because I think almost everybody here has commented on the jewel of Boulder City is the Parks and Rec. I mean, the programs you have and the parks you keep up and the facilities you have available. So I think it'd be a great selling point for tourism.
I think you're right, and we'll look into that. I'd like to give a shout out to the Public Works Department for the maintenance of the parks.
Absolutely.
They're the ones that keep it green. Sergio and his crew do an excellent job. You go down to the Hemingway Fields in the spring, and they're striped. It looks like the professional fields, and that's where our adults play softball. So they do a great job. And then my staff, Kelly, many times I see her doing the fields, dragging the drag around, a rake in her hand, all dirty, and she has a lot of pride in what she does, and my whole staff does, and I really appreciate that.
Just the work our Public Works does on maintaining leaf-free pathways. I walk veterans every day almost. 2 or 3 times a week they're out there keeping during the time of year, but working on keeping the leaves down. And
yeah, that's a big park to maintain.
Big park and a lot of leaves.
Yep, and they do an excellent job.
being new on the commission, I went through this, every page of it, and I found it to be very, very helpful, helped me understand a lot of things, and I thought it was a very well-prepared document.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate that.
I have a couple questions.
Yes.
You know, we have had members of the community even come in and talk about a desire for soccer fields. Is that something that we would want to put into our goals and future, is a soccer field? We have the soccer fields for our young kids that we do on Veterans Park, but a soccer field with a full-size goal.
Well, we had put it in a CIP plan, and we'll probably continue to look at that process. But, you know, we have the two regulation soccer fields, there's Pratt soccer fields. We use those for a variety of different things, events. It's our biggest, we do the 4th of July down there. We have dog shows on there. Kelly uses it for t-ball, football. I mean, so it's a multi-use fields basically, but they are soccer fields.
Okay.
And so if we have, and we had a couple of tournaments, guys that wanted to do adult soccer leagues down here, and you know, we set it up for them, and they unfortunately they canceled due to COVID. But there's a method there, and I think it's available for soccer use.
Great.
And we have a lot of teams practicing out there. Probably 2 or 3 soccer teams practicing, youth soccer teams, club teams. So there's a lot of use of that field down there.
Okay.
Yeah.
You know, Roger, when we heard that discussion about additional soccer fields, it always made me wonder, is there really enough interest in it to take money away from other programs you list in here, and maintenance and all the stuff associated with it?
Yeah.
I would hope we'd do some kind of an assessment to see if there really is enough interest to, because that's quite an expenditure. You're probably talking lights and grass and maintenance and yada, yada, yada.
Yeah, you're talking probably $500,000, $600,000
Yeah,
bucks.
absolutely.
You know,
Absolutely.
or more, and then
ongoing.
a maintenance fee to mow the grass and the water. You know, water again is a big factor. You're putting in a field 100 yards by 60 yards for a regulation soccer field, a football field. That's a lot of water every day.
That's a lot of water,
you know,
and it seems to me that there would need to be some kind of
Oh,
significant interest
yes.
before we jump off that.
My other thought is in the goals and for the master plan is to get that online payments up and running.
Yes, we're working on that again. You know, we've had some issues with our software system, and we're working through that. So, yeah, that is one of our goals. That would make the job easier for a lot of people, my staff, and also the public who can just call in, pay on it, and register on it. So we're looking into that.
But very well done, very well put together.
Thank you.
Any other discussion on the master plan? Okay, next item would be that we need a motion to approve the master plan.
I motion to approve the master plan.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And that motion carries. Master plan's approved by us.
Thank you, I appreciate that. A lot of hard work went into that.
And our last item is item number 9, public comment. This is an opportunity for public to comment on items that are not on the agenda or on the agenda also, but pretty much any topic, and limited to 5 minutes. Any public comment? Hearing and seeing none, there's also an opportunity for...
Mr.
Oh,
Henson?
I'm sorry, I do.
Excuse me, we have public comments to make.
Okay.
So thank you for letting us do this. We have a young man in our audience here that we would like to recognize. Bob Haber has been a volunteer for the city, specifically at the pool, since 2019, roughly. I was trying to dig up some statistics on this, and I guess I didn't keep very good records. But Bob and his wife moved to Boulder City a few years ago, and he came in to see me at the pool to see how he could be of service. He's certified in many American Red Cross courses, and he spent a lot of his time when they lived in Pennsylvania volunteering at summer camps, training lifeguards, swimming instructors, and so forth. And when he got here, he wanted to continue on in some capacity. So how could we say no to that? We really appreciate Bob. He has taught swimming lessons. He has helped train lifeguards, helped train swimming instructors. He has been on our actual lifeguarding schedule as well, filling in, helping out there. He helped teach swimming for our world's largest swimming lesson that we've done, we did in 2019 and 2021. And in addition to that, he volunteers for the National Park Service. So, you know, is this a good guy or what? So, Bob, we would just like to thank you for giving of your time, your knowledge, your skills, your heart. You're a great guy, and we really appreciate it.
Yeah, I gotta get a picture. Yay, Bob. Just stand up in front with him?
Okay. Come on, let's get this.
Yay, Bob.
Tall people in the front.
I'll be in the front.
You're not tall, you're not tall.
I lied. All right, here we go.
Should we write our names on our mask?
Ready? Here, Mo.
Come on, Rod, here you go.
Hey, smile, okay? Yeah. Smile.
I'm sticking my tongue out.
Okay, on three, act crazy. 1, 2, 3. Okay, good. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, congratulations, Bob. Also, he's the friendliest, nicest lifeguard out there. Yeah, I love it. Congratulations.
Just so you know, I didn't do this.
I did.
It's tough getting old. If there's no other in-person public comment, you can also have the opportunity to provide comment by calling 702-589-9629, or you can send an email via the Parks and Rec website. And it appears we have no additional public comment. I'd just like to close and recognize the passing of a longtime Parks and Rec participant, Douglas Haig. Maybe you may or not have known him. Participated in a number of different Parks and Rec activities, but was a 15-year participant in the senior fitness class. And he passed away within the last month. Anyway, in closing, just like to recognize Doug.
Also, Ivan McClay passed away over the
I
weekend.
didn't know that.
And Ivan, Thursday, yeah. So Ivan has been with the pool. He was a swimmer in the pool ever since I ran the pool. So he's been involved in the swimming pool. I bet he's swam miles and miles. So, you know, we're thinking of the family for Ivan.
With that, we're in adjournment.
All right. Woohoo. Wow. Time to go. Monday night's my girlfriend night. We get together. Usually go out to dinner. Nice to meet you too, Rose.
Carla.